Howdy folks, and welcome to part 6 of my campaign starter guide. First up, I'd like to sincerely apologize for the suboptimal audio balancing of the previous episode, in which I unfortunately left the music and sound effects a little too competitive with my voiceover. Hopefully, the adjustments I've made will work better this time around. In this video, we're going to clean up the remaining pirate debris field, enhance our mining and combat vessels, and use some research to improve our refining station ahead of more space exploration. Let's get to it. Alright, welcome back everybody. We have got an awful lot of debris in front of us. Isn't that marvelous to see? We had a little scuffle with some drones with our commander vessel. Now it's time to make good on all that we have received. I'm going to complete first of all the scanning operation. Let's turn that orbital camera off. I always forget that for some reason. I put it on because I like to have something moving in the background for you to watch while I'm rambling with the intro, and then I forget to turn it off sure enough. Okay, let's go up top here and just scan the rest of this debris field. Then we can get our miners going, and I'm going to make some adjustments. We're going to be diving into a little bit of research, a little bit of building, and just having a jolly good old time really. We're going to have to do some trade because we're going to need some more money. Research isn't cheap, as we've already seen, and yeah, we're going to see if we can work our way around to some more processing goods. I think have I got all of the stuff scanned down here? No, unknown. So there's a couple more bits on the other side that are not fully scanned yet. I'm going to try and pick those up because I don't want to miss out on any goodies. So we've got plenty of time. We're no mad rush. Let's see. I wish I could turn the bubbles off when I zoom a little bit further out. That would be a nice thing. I don't know if there's an overlay option for that, but I don't think so. It doesn't look like it. No, storage and all that. Yeah, okay, it's not that. It's just showing us what's available when we zoom out a little bit. Perhaps that'll come along in a future update. Now we've got to be careful here because we've made this adjustment to our ship. So I think one of the things we should do is probably move where our scanner is. That is very close to touching there. We're going to back out of that situation and we're just going to move off to the left a little bit. So yeah, it is worth paying a little bit of attention to things like where is your scanner in relation to additional new protrusions that you've added to your ship. Alright, I should probably just put a scanner on the other side of the ship. We've got so much resource now. Why are we not just making these adjustments already? Okay, so a couple of things that we want to do. I want to add some more metal storage onto the ship because we're going to pick up an awful lot and we're almost full. Now, whilst we are also going to be trading some stuff away or moving it into storage on other vessels, nevertheless, we're going to eventually have so much storage that we're going to need to take some more. So we'll do that, and then yeah, really quite difficult to maneuver around. I suppose what I could do is I could turn the HOD off while we're sort of in motion. Oops, I've turned the mining off by accident. Always doing that, aren't I? It's done it again. I definitely didn't hit that key. I wonder if my keyboard has a short circuit or something. Alright. Alright, well, we might as well start mining. We're going to start grabbing bits and bobs of this equipment. So we've added kind of another, doubled up our storage by the looks of it. Yeah, another 1300 on top. Nice. Okay, so first minor adjustment made. Next thing I want to do is let's have a look at research and let's have a look under the fleet tab and medium hangar 2 confirm. So we're going to pick that one up, and then we're also going to look, sorry I should close that too quickly, under general we're going to pick up the tier 2 slant node, the tier 2 medium array, and then the tier 2 cleft node, and I will show you why momentarily. Is there anything else I wanted to pick up in here immediately? Don't think so. Mining training, okay, increasing a mining range and stuff like that, we already have that, don't need to worry about that right now. Okay, tier 2 manufacturing, we do want to get to that eventually, maybe at the end of this episode, maybe not. Okay, I think that was the one for now. You can also pick up these fleet logistics. Oh, there's one other thing that's worth looking at, which is under colonists, investing in water rations. We're officer level, so you need 3,000 bucks, but you need 2,000 research points. These have just been added with the new patch 4, 0.33.5 update. It's worth investing in these. They will save you a lot of hassle with water consumption over time. Okay, so in the meantime we're going to be storing up that lovely delicious resource, and then the next thing we want to do, I'm going to double click on this new metal node that we've just added, and I'm going to go into build mode and add a cleft node. I'm going to use the R key to rotate it around, and I'm going to have it facing up with the tier 2 part of the node facing up there, and I'm going to install that. That's going to be built by our laser. It's fantastic because it's in range, and on top of there, on that tier 2, the newly unlocked tier 2 medium hangar, I'm going to grab that, turn that around just for aesthetic reasons, and I'm going to build that. That's going to build with the laser as well. Fantastic. So whilst we're using all this pirate debris, or we're harvesting it all, we might as well put some of it to use. Our little builder bot is out there doing its job, and what we're going to do is we're going to add some more haulers just to make sure we're always picking up whatever we need. What are we short on here? Cobalt. Okay, well, hopefully we're bringing some in from the other ship. Let's have a look. Let's turn that HUD off for a moment so we can see what we're doing. Okay, so is that built yet? Not quite built yet. Bit fiddly with the camera today, isn't it? Okay, very, very close to being done. Resource balancing needs to be redone. So if you ever notice these out of whack, not at 100% or close to it, rebalance. That'll just make it a bit more comfortable maneuvering a ship around. Okay, so we need to mine some cobalt from this ship. What is going on with the camera today? Let's go back to tactical mode again. I'm having a really hard time seeing what the heck I'm doing. I'm going to put my dampeners back on because I just realized those were off, and that's not going to end well. But yeah, I'm having a hard time. There we go. I'll zoom in a little bit more. Having a hard time seeing what's going on the screen because of all the debris. Okay, there we go. So I've just swung it around a little bit and then prioritized aiming at this green node here, which has got some cobalt in it. So you'll get the hang of the colors and the little abbreviations over time. We've left a load of stuff floating in the air there as well. But again, so this is the point. We're harvesting so much that so much of this debris is just lying here in the air. Or the air, lying in the air. What the heck? That's a sentence that I have, isn't it, guys? Just floating about in space, not doing much. Thankfully, it doesn't float off forever and ever anymore with this new patch. You know, it's immersion versus playing a game, I guess. But hopefully this will bring on board enough cobalt. If they can focus in on getting it, I don't know how I can get them to prioritize what I want them to collect. But anyway, we will get an additional hangar built, and then from there we will build additional haulers so that we have enough to pick up. Come on, go get that cobalt for me. Oh, you know, I talked about this in a much earlier episode, didn't I? What we could do... Oh, he went and got some there. He heard me. What we could do in the meantime is we could go to one of our small hangars, right-click where the haulers are, and we could tell them not to collect the other things while they focus on picking up the cobalt. There we go. But we picked up enough anyway, coincidentally, as it was. I nearly forgot my own tips and tricks. Okay, right-click on the new hangar, and then build 3 new tier 1 haulers. That'll just take resource from within the ship, and that's going to help speed this process up a little bit here. Okay, so next step is I want to enhance, actually just seeing the heat there, I'm going to just grab this, we've got a thermal dumper on here. There it is underneath. I'm going to right click on that and force heat dump, and just double check that that's not actually collecting any more in those buffers. No, okay, we're okay. We're not generating more heat than necessary. Okay, wonderful. So there we go, filling our ship up slowly but surely. Now let's have a look at our commander ship, and let's make this a lot better than it currently is. So what we saw was 2 plasma guns uses a heck of a lot of energy drain. So I'd like to enhance this with some more energy production, but I'd also like to make it a lot more aesthetically pleasing than it currently is as well. So we're going to bring it over here so that our construction laser can do some work on it as well. I think if we're underneath, the dead spot as it was on that laser, I think is above that ship. So if we're a little bit below, we should have enough room to build, and hopefully we can get some things zapped onto it quickly. Okay, so I'm going to first of all remove a couple of things to make some space. So we're going to right click on our plasma cannons and disassemble them. There we go. Then I'm going to right click on our solar panels starting on the outside and disassemble them. We have more than enough part storage to do this. So we're going to disassemble. This ship is actually going out and collecting a lot of the debris as well, which will probably come in handy when it comes to building some things. Okay, so that's cleaned it up quite significantly. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build one of the new pieces we just learned, which is the slant node. I'm going to press the R key to rotate so that that's pointing downward. Like so. I'm going to build that on there. Then I'm going to build underneath there on the tier 2 a cleft node, again using rotate until the circle, like the magical eye in the middle or whatever, is facing forward, the tier 2 module connector. There we go. So we're going to put that there. Then on the front of this I'm going to add a tier 2 Hulk node, and we're going to basically be moving our weaponry a little bit further forward on the ship. This laser is not helping us build yet, so I'm going to just see if I can maneuver us into a slightly better position for that. Where is the laser? There we go. We got him now. There we go. Okay. So that's going to help build that a lot faster. Then what we're going to do is off the side of this node, we're going to rebuild our plasma cannons. So clicking on the number 4 here, which is a lot better to read in this patch, on that side, and we're going to click here and build there on the other side, and on the not on the top because it won't fit. On the bottom we're going to build a third one. That's crazy how much power generation we're going to need for 3 plasma guns. The answer is an awful lot. We should have enough crew, because I believe I foolishly left, if I turn build mode off, I foolishly left this hiring job running on the bridge. So we filled up our crew of 20 complement. We have 8 idles on here. That's why we're using up more water. We still have just under 2 hours of water anyway. And then the next enhancements I'm going to make, obviously we need to put our power production back on. First of all, I'm going to add a small habitat because we will need that a little bit later on. So I'm going to add a small habitat, and what that's going to do is it won't bring any colonists immediately, but you can hire from it. But it will double our water capacity from 100 to 2. And that could come in handy if we do add some more staff on board. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to adjust the bottom of the ship for our power generation area. I'm going to press build, and I'm this time going to choose the cleft node with it facing outward, like so. And on the other side I'm going to do a mirror of that. So another cleft node facing outward. And then on here I'm going to add a slant node facing backwards towards the aft of the ship, and another one on the other side here. You're probably already sort of spotting the design a little bit, very loosely. We're then going to add some bulk nodes just to give us some flexibility in case we want to add weapons later on or whatever. It's just going to allow us to add a lot more equipment onto here. And then off the back of these, for now, we're going to add back our solar panels. So again, clicking on the number 8 in this case, building from disassembled parts in storage. One there. We're going to build another one. Again, clicking on the number carefully so that we're building from our stored parts and not building using new resources. There we go. Add one more. Last one there. They're 2 parts each. 20 tons. Okay, so that puts us back power-wise where we were. Now what I'm going to do underneath this cleft node is I'm going to add tier 1 solar panel from storage. And here the same thing. Add tier 1 solar panel from storage. There we go. We've got all the guns and everything built. We're building that last Hulk node there. Wonderful. And then because we are going to need more power even with these extra ones added back on, we can either throw a bunch more tier 1s up here quite cheaply, or we might as well indeed just add another tier 3. Wait, we have another one from storage? I don't believe that. Oh, this one didn't add properly, that's why. Okay, so in this case we're just going to build that one, and we're going to add one more on. There we go. Turn build mode off so we can see what's going on. What we could do is rotate our ship around to get our build laser to have a line of sight again, and that will help get these things built a bit quicker. This is a poor building site choice because of all this debris going on over here, but you get the gist of it, hopefully. I hope the visuals aren't too bad. Imagine I get the audio balanced right and then I mess up the visuals this time around. Can't win. Do better, Grumbles. Alright, there we go. We got one more still to go. I think the builder's already in place. That's why the laser's not firing, because the construction bot's already got the pieces. There we go. So we now have 6 tier 2 solar panels on board, 2 tier 1 solar panels underneath, and we have a much more aesthetically pleasing ship. You may or may not agree. But anyway, that feels way more comfortable. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go and take out the last remaining pirate outpost that's in this region, and that's why we've built up a much more capable vessel for dealing with the danger. What we could do on the top here is, unfortunately, like ideally I'd probably put another plasma cannon, but it gets stuck because of this slightly interfering with this slant node here. So again, maybe there's a better design. Well, I'm sure there are better designs out there. But what we could do instead is we could add a tier 2 medium array node just to have some additional weapons capability. And on here we can add in from storage. We've got 2 assault lasers. It says number 4 because it's 2 parts each. And we can click on here and click the parts number again. There we go. And then on the back of this we can just add 2 new ones. eventually once I get an angle to see it. What's going on here? Why won't that build? There we go. I lost the build connection for a bit there. There we go. We'll use the quick menu. So we'll add on 4 lasers. Then you want to right click on, or come out of build mode, right click on your plasma guns and put them all in a weapons group together. Whichever number you prefer. We'll put them in group number 1. There we go. And then we can give commands to them as a group. The lasers we're going to put in weapons group 2. We have to wait until they finish complete building before we can do that, unfortunately. Okay, I think my building ships are close enough. Yeah, there we go. So number 2. All right. Steam achievement unlocked. Build 50 defensive structures. Nice. Okay, so we have our weapons group 1 and 2 with the ability using the toggle overlays area to show their ranges. We can turn that on and turn that off again. And now we have a much more combat capable vessel, hopefully with enough energy. 3 plasma guns is an awful lot though. I'm just going to turn my haulers off so that they come back to base, so we don't fly off without them. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look for, there it is over there, 10,000 away. We're going to look for the Pirate Outpost. Now, if you're not familiar or need a little refresher, you can search for them on the overlay over here. You can click on them and then they will show an arrow back to your ships. Go back to the commander vessel, and when we hover over Pirate Outpost, it shows a green line, those arrows to where we're heading towards. So if we turn this way and look coincidentally towards this 10,000 kilometer item over there, that's the one. That's where that green line is taking us. Very, very slender line to see. But anyway, that's how you can sort of maneuver your way over. Let's just check on our mining ship and make sure. So it is still mining. And then let's move the ship in a little bit for some more collection. Hopefully, we might have wasted some materials by not scanning those other containers on the inside, but it won't be a showstopper, so it'll be okay. I'm just going to move the ship into position a little bit closer, because either we can get some more mining lasers going than just the big laser, or if nothing else, the round trip for the little hangar vessels will be lesser. Now, one of the things you see that the storage is filling up quite significantly. So one of the things we could also do is we could trade with our Pannonia. I think we're just out of direct trade range, but we could set up a trade automation job. So I'll press tab or the button, go to the trade automation, create a new request from our mining ship to the Pannonia 2. We're going to select some of these resources. So iron, we've got a heck of a lot on board. We're going to send 500 across. Condition, mining ship has more than 1. Set, that will transfer 500 of those. And then we're going to do the same with silicate, because again, we're still mining, so we're going to pick up even more. We're going to go to Pannonia 2. Click silicates. Click, we just send another 500. Mining ship has more than 1. Set, go. There we go. We're going to leave the rest of the resources. Oh, and actually the Eonite we could send to the refining ship, because that's going to be something we're going to look at later. So from mining ship 1 to RS1, refining station, we're going to say Eonite. Mining ship has more than 1, and we're going to say 200, because that's the total amount we have, and set. And that should disappear from our storage there on the side. Wonderful. Okay. Right, so that's got some resource transfer going, and we're just going to move our ship a little bit over to the right here. Now that she's got plenty of storage. And press rebalance again, and then, yeah, we're just going to get these lasers going on this other equipment, and hopefully she'll hoover all of that up, vacuum it all out of space in good time. Let's just go a little bit above. Slam into anything. There we go. We just want to make sure that our lasers can pick up the rest of this equipment or this debris. Nice, there we go. We've got something hitting everything. We've got our linears on, so we're nice and stopped. And over time, our extra haulers and that will pick up all of this stuff. Okay, now let's go show these pirates what for. We have some silica on board, only 50 tons, but that will mean that we can do some repairs. Actually, could have left the haulers on to collect a bit more. We were waiting, but that's okay. I'll turn them back on now that we're underway, just because that could be useful later on. There we go. Dismantle the derelict station 2. Objective complete. So we've just completed getting all of that debris cleaned up. Wonderful. All right, on to our next target. Now, unfortunately, we haven't leveled up again, so we've got the base range on our commander vessel for our plasma guns, and over on this pirate station, if we just quickly click on it and have a look, it's got 4 plasma guns of its own on this hull here, as well as a bunch of lasers up at the top. It's got a tier 3 solar array, that's what we're really after, and then it's got a Hulk node and various heat dissipation at the bottom. So we're going to have to be a little bit careful with this fight. If we had invested in a commander perk or something that gave our plasma gun more range, we'd be able to probably take these out just by staying slightly out of their range and make our life a little bit safer. But unfortunately, we don't have that capability. Let's not slam into that debris. So what we're going to do is turn our linears off to start moving a little bit closer, and we're going to attack from the bottom of the station, just to see if we can start doing some real damage and sort of knocking it out piece by piece without getting into range of their weaponry. Now, at some point, because we're equal with them in terms of that range, at some point we are going to get into a bit of a slugging fest with them. But given the positions of their guns and everything, it's very difficult for us to be able to approach from an angle where they wouldn't be able to hit us at all. So we're going to come from below like a shark, sneaking up, and we're going to, let's just slow down here, put our dampeners back on, and we're going to try and start attacking these nodes here at the bottom, these modules, and just take this station out from below. Hopefully we're not going to get into too much of a fight with them. But we'll see. Let's just see how it goes. Again, with the position of our weaponry, we should be able to use all 3 with those decent firing angles that the plasmas offer. We make sure that our weapons are online, shown on the bottom bar there. We can press X.
Offline. Weapons online.
There we go, turn them online, make sure. And again, we are going to use a tremendous amount of energy with 3 plasma guns, but I'm hoping these additional solar panels will get the job done. There we go. Okay, we have 1 weapon in range. We have 2 of our guns firing. In fact, all 3 of them are now firing. And there we go, we're beginning the job. Smashing these pirates before they even know what's in them. There we go, enemy station listed. So this is the safe part, if you will. If you can see, look at our batteries. They're already taking an absolute peppering on the left-hand side. So potentially we could have added more batteries to our ship. We've now ceased firing because nothing else is left in range. I'm going to just let our batteries charge up a little bit again. We're not out of energy at all. We've still got the main hulks with their energy reserves. You can see that this solar array is... that's the bit I really want to target there, that tier 1 core. That's 1141 out of range. You can see that the solar array is coming online, charging up the base. And there we go. I think their enemy guns are turning and trying to fire. I think we just blew one off, actually. Nice. So I want to really hit that Hulk node there and not shoot the panel, the array panel. Really rather take out that Hulk node, because that's where the guns should be sitting. There we go. We got it. I'm going to try very much. In fact, I think that's it. Yes, so approaching from this angle underneath really was the difference maker. There we go. Wonderful. We keep the weapons online as we approach, just in case. We'll bring the nose down a little bit so that we can use our lasers in case anything fires at us. And look at that. Having knocked out that station 2 pieces. And this is a little bit different each time depending on how the fight goes. But generally you're able to get hold, spoiler alert, you're able to get hold of this solar array at least. Let's right click on that and say possess. We now have our very first tier 3 solar array. Awesome. And then if we go back to the commander, we should be able to right click and possess this. We've also gained an additional tier 2 medium array node with 4 tier 1 lasers on it. So like the one we put on the top of the nose at the front of our ship. We've got another one, we can put that on the top of the vessel. They're a little bit awkwardly placed, to be honest with you. They're kind of just in the way of each other for collection. That is unfortunate. Okay, I think we might have to do a build node way. So let's just take control of our ship here. We're going to go up above and just interact with this question mark. This is another thing I think they need to change so that the question mark might be like a couple of kilometers away from an enemy station or something, because you'll see in a moment when we eventually touch it. There you go. It says there seems to be some unwanted activity here. Dispose of the pirates before they start making trouble. How are you supposed to read that whilst engaged with the enemy? If you're able to read that, anyway, it's like those signs on the back of bumpers, on cars. If you can read this, you're too close, kind of thing. Right. Anyway, what we can do now is we've got a couple of options. We don't actually have many building materials over here, so that's rather unfortunate, actually. We could, let's see, can we dismantle this? No, we can put it to the top of the repair queue. We can toggle repairs on and off. We could disassemble, but there's no storage, so it would be just Jettison. Let's try this. Let's disassemble tier 1 laser. There you go, and it's brought the Jettison prompt. If I just jettison it near to my ship, my haulers should go out and collect it. Yeah, look, there's all the parts there. So this is a little bit funky, but just to make some space, rather than building a Hulk node underneath, which I'd need to go and get my other ship and bring that across and everything, I'm going to just disassemble these. We'll jettison the parts again. And we're going to pick those up. We should have more than enough part storage on board here. Yeah, 650. So we're still empty on that now. Okay. So, yeah. You could build a Hulk node in between and connect those up, I'm pretty sure. But in this case, we're just going to do it like this. It doesn't hurt to get a little bit more practice. Also getting some jettisoning practice, which we've not really looked at in this playthrough, I don't think. So, there you go. It was a little bit in the tutorial. There we go. Now let's go to our array. Oh, we still can't move this. Oh. Well, that's awkward. So, how on earth can we do this? This will be a test of my piloting skills, I guess. Can we? I thought we might be able to do like a disassemble, or at least a scrap of this other piece, but that doesn't appear to be a possibility. So I wonder if, oh, this is going to be dodgy, isn't it? We'll double click that so we've got the view from this camera, and then we're gonna see if we can grab this on there. This should be fun without getting a hull breach. So this is precision maneuvering required here. I don't know how this is gonna go, to be honest with you. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll make a quick save. Yeah. We'll save it there just in case, and then we're gonna go up a bit and then left a bit. If there's a better way to do this, I think we might need to go and get our builder ship and bring it over. Maybe that is the only way. because this is not giving me an option to do anything with it. Yeah, we're about as good as we're gonna get. Let's see what happens. Oh, there you go. Merge. Merging denied, alignment issue. Docking denied, not operational. Yeah, that's fair. Merge station. Oh, we just have to get close enough. Boom. There we go. We got the first piece. Now we can go safely above, come across, and then merge. This is the bit we really wanted. Wonderful. Okay, now this requires personnel 4 in order to activate. We're a little bit short on water, but anyway, because we built the additional habitat, we can get some colonists. We can just hire them from here. Where are we? From the bridge. So hire. We're going to hire 4 of them to operate. There we go. We got 20 out of 40. There we go. So we needed the habitat for the additional personnel buffer. And then we're going to have all the power for days from this tier 3 node. Now, remember, we can't disassemble... Oh, sorry. We can disassemble this tier 3 solar panel array, but because we don't yet have the technology unlocked, we wouldn't be able to reassemble it anyway. So for now, we're just going to leave it like a little flower hanging off the bottom of our ship, which is fine. We've got 2 of the staff required. If you hover over it on the left hand side, you can see 2 out of 4 for colonists. So we keep going. This is why we needed to also make some sales and make sure we had enough money left over, because it's 1,000 a pop. We're just going to see this through and then turn the hiring process off again, because it's easy to forget that and then not realize why your money's all drained away in the meantime. We've taken out the last Pirate Outpost, greatly enhanced our combat ship, slightly enhanced our mining ship, and transferred some resources around whilst finishing the rest of the cleanup. So doing really good on objectives so far. Okay, we're going to stop the hiring process, and there we go. Now we have a tier 3 solar array tucked underneath our combat vessel. So we've got power for days. This one gives you a power output of 150 megawatts. The tier 2s are giving you 35 each. So that's fantastic. That's more than 4. And then the tier 1s are, you know, they're pretty tiny. They're only giving you 15 each. So potentially you could look at taking some of those down now if you wanted to balance out with the power, or just, you know, have it as additional power. It doesn't look too bad either. Again, once we unlock the tech for that, we'll be able to disassemble it and move it around on the ship if we wanted to have it somewhere else. But I think that looks kind of cool. Right, so that's covered those bits. Cleaning up the pirate station and everything. We're now going to look at travel within the Earth sector, if you will. So that you guys can have a feel for what's out there and other missions and things that you can get into locally. So this is not following the main objectives closely in terms of the game's sort of overall overarching quests. This is how to travel locally, as I said, within sectors, within a planet or planetoid sector that you're in. So in order to do that, you've got 2 kind of main options. You can travel with your hangar ship. That costs you Eonite fuel, as far as I understand it so far. You don't really want to be doing that just for local jumps typically, unless you really need to take like your whole fleet and you want to go and investigate a whole sector and take your mining ship and whatever else you've captured. Loki Station, for example. Note that the bonus bit of the last video where I included capturing Loki Station isn't incorporated in this particular save. So we don't have that station on board at this time, unfortunately. That's why it's showing less fuel than what you might be expecting, in case you've been watching the whole series. Again, thank you for all the love and the positive energy for the video series. I'm really appreciating that feedback and enjoying hearing what you guys have been getting up to on your playthroughs. So the two options for traveling are, when you click M on your map, you can select between currently your hangar ship, like that, and then it becomes highlighted in blue. Maybe if you're colorblind, maybe the shading looks slightly different or darker. Or you can click your commander ship on the left hand side, or you can click on their little icons here next to the region they're in. Now, if we make sure that our hangar ship is the one that's highlighted, you can just click on it a couple of times to make sure. You will now see that these different regions around the Earth have the red travel button on it. They also show whether you visited there or not, or whether you have stations in the area. Then it would say enter. So what you can do is, as long as you have 10,000 energy stored up in your batteries of a ship, that's the prerequisite for being able to, or currently the only requirement for being able to travel to another zone. So if we take our commander ship, for example, the one I would recommend, so there's a bunch of different sites here. Some of them are a little bit more active and have more either pirate or alien threats, and others have some more kind of tutorial-esque quests for you to follow. But I'm not really here to show you those in depth. I'd rather let you have fun and go exploring, and let me know in the comments what you get up to and which regions you visited yet. But what we can do, for example, is visit Frontier Zone Gamma. Just as an example, we click travel, and as long as I said you have this prerequisite or this requirement met with energy, your ship will travel. We now get a new quest from Amara O'Brien or O'Brien, and the help arrives 2 days late and with the wrong class of ship to boot. Now this is coded based on you arriving here with your mining or your sort of utility assembler ship. We've arrived in a combat capable vessel. She's looking for us to have a combat capable vessel, but it's not dynamic, so it hasn't recognized that we've come with our commander. In any case, I won't go through that here. I'll leave that up to you to read, and I don't want to spoil anything for you. But essentially, she offers us the chance to do some work in the area. Again, I'm speed clicking through. Pause, or feel free to run that through at your own pace. But essentially, this area takes you into a fairly safe little zone with a lot of smaller ships and stations that you can either take over or do some tasks for, like building and repairing and such. And I think they're kind of cool, but they're very tutorial oriented. So if you feel already comfortable with the game's sort of mechanics and how to play, you can easily kind of skip this, or just blaze through it really quickly because you know how to do it all. But I think it's interesting, and I'm enjoying the fact that there are these additional missions available. This one centers around initially getting, again, what they're saying, get a combat capable vessel, what they call a corvette, up and running. And you can see by the little icons on the overlay on the right hand side of the screen, several of these are going to be ships that you can possess. When you fly close enough, right click and possess them. They have the orange logo and the little white plus in them. There's a Pirate Outpost Alpha here, and there are some depots and some research facilities and some gates and things that you can explore at your leisure. But again, the main point of what I wanted to show in this video was just how to move your ship around within a sector without having to do big space jumps every time. The same goes if we go on the map, for example, and we go back to the Great Spill. If we do enter instead of travel, so we can leave our commander ship over here. If we click on enter on the map, this will take us over to the starter zone, and over here we have our mining ship, our our hangar ship, everything. So this one, because we added the solar wing blueprint in the blueprint episode, we have enough additional batteries and energy stored up on the ship. We have 18,000, you can see on the left there. We would also be able to go to the map, and then again, Frontier Zone Gamma, we could travel to that with our mining ship. Did that work? Or did I press enter? Nope, it did. Okay, it brought us in, but it put our ship a little bit a safe distance away from our other ship. There you go. That was a bit weird because it switched vessel on me, so I wasn't expecting that. But that, for example, shows you a very neat trick of how you can ensure that all of your individual vessels can travel. I haven't tried it with taking a, say for example, our mining rig with less battery on it and docking it to this one temporarily, not merging. I haven't tried then taking the ship that has the power and doing a travel and seeing if the dock ship comes along. I don't know. Give it a go. If you have, let me know. But I haven't tried that. The reason why I'm showing you this again, because it's not intuitive or overly obvious that you can travel within the sector with more than just the 2 ships listed, that you can take your other parts of your fleet individually. Of course, what you could do is put several ships into your hangar ship and then jump with that, but again at the cost of Eonite fuel. So and then you don't have to jump back and forth either. You can jump to the next sector and go through and do whatever you want. You'll want to bring your utility or your construction ship with you for this mission, because the first part is to go to this little corvette vessel over there and do some construction on it. So you'll need a ship that's capable of doing the construction, that has enough resources on board, or is at least capable of mining and processing with a tier 1 refinery minimum the resources needed to build. So you do need to bring a capable vessel across with you. So there you go. That is how you can travel your fleet's vessels individually around the area. So if you know that there's an area where there's going to be some combat or whatever, or you're, say you jumped in there with one of your other ships and you're like, oh, I've got my mining ship, but there's a lot of aliens here or something, and then you can just jump back to the map, enter another area like that, pick up, say, your commander vessel or whatever weapons platforms you've put together, and then as long as they've got 10,000, I might have said 30,000 earlier, as long as they have 10,000 power stored up in reserve, they can travel to another region. So there you go. Now, as long, and again, as long as you don't, if you're on your active ship here, as long as you don't pick one of your other ships by clicking on them, but you just go to a region, then you're able to travel back and forth, as I'll show you here. We're going to take our mining ship back to the other region. Bang. And when it arrives, oh, that's kind of cool. That's like a fast travel. Oh no, I think it's put it back where it was, right? Yeah, we were more or less here. But there we go. We're right back next to our hangar ship now with our mining ship. So yeah, there you go. That's how you can do some travel within the sector without using your Eonite fuel up and your hangar ship. Next thing that I want to look at is setting up the processing of the Eonite that we've harvested into some fuel. So in order to do that, we're going to make some further adjustments to our refinery ship, RS1, our Refinery Station. We're just picking up the last of these bits of debris out here. So I'll get myself oriented towards the hangar ship. Not hangar ship, sorry, Refinery Station. Need more caffeine. That's what it is. Let's have a sip of tea. Lovely. That's stone cold tea, that is. How do you take yours? Okay. So they're docked. Bang. There we go. Take the dampeners off. And we're going to move forward. Balance is 77% on one of the metal storage. I'm just going to click balance so it auto balances over a few seconds. Get the ship moving as smoothly as possible. There we go. And again, we're back up to 800 tons of iron, 579 tons of silicates, a little bit of cobalt 70 and thorium 80. So and water wise 5 hours, sorry, and 31 minutes. So again, that's real time. We've got plenty of time left over. We've only got 10,000 credits, so we're going to have to make some more monies. So a good way of making money, which I'm sure you know by now, if we haven't covered it, is thorium. I believe cobalt's pretty tasty too, but thorium, basically the further you get down the chain of production, the more monies. I really do need to adjust this to put the scanner somewhere up front again, right? It's quite funny trying to maneuver around carefully and not smash these solar panels off. We could just disassemble them and put them put them to the back of the ship. That might be a smart option. Let's do, let's see, part storage 260. So we'll disassemble that one. We'll disassemble that one. And we'll disassemble that one. And then we're just going to build them back on over here. So solar panel from parts. Solar panel from parts. And we had one more. I guess I'll just keep it within the frame of the vessel. So from parts, there we go. Okay.
Construction completed.
There we go. So it's a little bit lopsided, but that's moved our solar power out of the way, so I'm not going to slam into it so much anymore. Okay, we've got this nice and scanned up, and we've got thorium. So I'm going to right click that to turn mining on, and then we're just going to spin the ship around a little bit. And we're going to take some thorium over with us. We can't process thorium on here because we only have the tier 1 refinery. But there we go. We've got our little warriors there, our little dockers. Wonderful. Now, we could either go to our Pannonia ship and sell some stuff from there, but on the refinery ship, we've got still 344 tons of thorium. So I'm going to open up a trade, create a new request from RS1, Refinery Station 1 to Reclamation 9, the neutral trade station. I'm going to choose thorium, and I'm going to sell 200. We're going to make a load more anyway. I'm keeping a little reserve because there's sometimes some items that you need to build that will require it. So that's why I'm just keeping a little bit back. Can spend SAT require? Again, we're buying and selling. So you turn that on for any buying and selling deals, regardless which direction. And then we press set. And now we have 34,000 credits. So they already complete the transaction before you've sent the thorium off. But they'll go into packages. So I don't think you can cheese it or whatever on that. And I haven't tried. So, okay. So that's that. Now, the next thing we're going to do is research. We're going to go to industry. And we're going to pick up this little ditty here, Tier 2 Manufacturing. Confirm. It's 12,000 credits and some research points. And then we're going to be looking to adding this onto our refinery. Now, one of the other reasons I wanted to bring my ship back here is because it's going to be really handy with the construction tower, the Tier 2 construction tower. It's going to help us build these larger units much quicker. So we'll just wait for that to finish off a little bit. There we go. Oh no, nearly. Boom. 360 tons of silicates left. But you see the benefit of adding that extra storage on, using the tier 2 laser, and adding the additional haulers. This is all running pretty smoothly now, pretty efficiently. Again, not trying to come up with the most optimal builds I've ever seen and so on and so forth, but just trying to get it so that it's running a little bit smoother. Right, so the things that we're going to want to do on the refinery station are add the manufacturing, the tier 2 manufacturing. In order to make that run a bit smoother, we're going to do similarly to we did on our mining ship, and we're going to start by adding... Well, we could add a tier 2 construction tower on here. That might be the most beneficial thing to do. Let's have a look. Add... where are we? Tier 2... Oh, we haven't unlocked that technology yet, so we can't do that. Do we have enough money? We do. That's 15,000 and 1,300 research points. Okay, well, since we've got it, we'll do it that way. If we don't have that, the way I was going to go about this was I was going to add another tier 2 hangar, as we did to the mining ship, and just build 3 additional constructor robots. We might still end up wanting to do that anyway. So on the front here, because I'm going to add the manufacturing underneath, it's a very large piece. We're going to first of all add a tier 2 construction tower, and that will be made by, in this case, only our one little builder robot is going to come out here and make a few trips back and forth. We're going to need cobalt 30, silicates. We don't have any cobalt on board. So, there we go. Our mining ship has finished picking up, well, all the bits that we wanted anyway, the thorium. So we're going to turn our mining ship around. or our utility belt. We're going to bring this back here. Our little drones that are out and about will try and catch up with us eventually. There we go. Lasers online. Perfect. Perfect. Wonderful. So we should be able to get that built. Actually, let's just check. Cobalt. Oh, we could be short on cobalt. Ooh, okay. Now, there's a really big asteroid there. Oh, look, it's got a whole lot of cobalt on it. That's handy. Oh, we did actually manage to finish the construction. That's wonderful. So we now have a construction tower laser on here. Wonderful. Now what we're going to do is build a... So if we have a look at the tier 2 manufacturing, it's going to be red because look at the size of that. It's humongous. So it's not going to fit on there. It's going to clash with many, many other items. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to just add another... we could use one of these new nodes that we've tried, but I think we're going to just add another Hulk node. Keep it simple for the sake of saving a few minutes, bit of time for the video. Now we've got 2 construction tower lasers building that. Superb. Actually, we're going to need 10 cobalt, so we might just have enough. Otherwise, we're going to have to go and mine some from this big rock over there. I'll save you the trouble of watching that if I do need to. There we go. All 10 requirements met. Wonderful. And then underneath this, we should be able to add the manufacturing. There we go. So this is going to require 100 iron, 50 silica and 50 thorium. So I mentioned earlier keeping some thorium in reserve. So boom. I didn't remember exactly what it was for, but there you go. Had a feeling. So luckily this doesn't need any cobalt, so we don't have to do any more mining. There we go. So we're going to add the manufacturing here. And on board our refining ship now we have 200 Eonite, which is processed Eonite, not the raw chunks. If it was the raw chunks, we would need a tier 3 refinery. However, we've not met the prerequisites to unlock that technology yet. If we look into not mining, sorry, industry, that is locked behind advanced refining techniques, tier 2 refinery, another couple of advanced refinery, and then tier 3 refinery, as well as efficient material refinery training. So a lot of RP needed, a lot of coin, or not that much coin. Oh no, actually tons of coin. Sorry, I just looked at it. It's 40k for that one. Plus you'd need to be level 6. So, okay, there we go. Speaking of, we did just level up again. So plasma cannon system tuning, range of plasma cannons 30%, no brainer. We're definitely going to take that. Reduce restriction, reduces construction resource cost by 30%. That's also an excellent one. If you look at the cost of all those things we were just buying. And increase attack speed by 30%. Wow. Those are quite tough choices. Nevertheless, I want to increase the range of my plasma cannons by 30% because we've seen how useful that's going to be. So, I might regret that choice, but anyway, it's made now. Okay, we've now built manufacturing tier 2. We have the Eonite on board the ship. We're going to right click on there, and you can see here you have nuclear fuel cell, costs 10 thorium per. So again, another reason to have some thorium reserves available. Eonite fuel cell costs 10 Eonite to produce each fuel cell. And then ordnance, where you can produce for 1 iron 10 pieces of ordnance. It doesn't actually say the output volume there, but that's what it was adjusted to in the patch. So we're going to click produce fuel cell, Eonite fuel cell, sorry, got to be precise here, and off we go. We're now doing that, keeping an eye on our heat so that we're not producing more heat than we can dissipate with that amazing tier 2 radio that we have at the back. And yeah, off you go. So you can see, there we go. Oh, so it's produced 5 fuel cells. There you go, for that 20. So, and once that's produced, you know, enough or all that you want, you can either sell it. I haven't tried selling it, I'm sure it's worth a fortune. But my recommendation, at least early on in the game, until you find a source of raw and you have the tier 3 refinery to process it, is send all of that Eonite fuel over to your hangar ship, because that's going to allow you to make more jumps and come back and forth, especially run away if you get yourself in big trouble. So there you go. So that's how to do manufacturing and use the tier 2 manufacturer module to process the Eonite, the processed Eonite that we found, that we salvaged from that large pirate debris at the start of the video. Now we're making our own fuel cells. Wonderful. Alright, I think that's pretty much what we got time for in this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope the sound levels have been good. I know maybe the game was more on the quieter side, but I'd rather over adjust slightly in that direction and have you guys be able to give me the feedback that it was audible and everything. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to catching you in the next one. Good vibes, everybody. Happy star mining.